YouTube. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the reps and sets that you need to be doing in the gym if you want to be making proper progress, as well as slightly going into the amount of exercises you should be doing. So, as sprinters, or more specifically as athletes, more specifically even more as speed athletes, the way we train is different to bodybuilders because bodybuilders are technically athletes. Bodybuilders train with the pure focus of building muscle. This muscle does not need to be useful and in anywhere other than the gym, but it just needs to be big and strong. And the only reason it is strong is because to build more muscle, they need to get stronger as well. That means in the gym, they're doing a lot of sets, they're doing a lot of reps. Obviously, they're eating a lot, but that's what we need to do as well. And the lot of reps and sets, they increase the weight to crazy amounts and they steadily go up. But the real problem here is the reps and the sets, not so much that the weight's going up. The reason why this is important is because there's two layers of muscle. You've got the inner layer and the outer layer. As you train in the gym, both layers, they grow in size. However, one layer will grow disproportionately to the other one depending on how you train. And the main focus here is to make sure that the one that grows the most is the inner layer, not the outer layer. Bodybuilders, they train the outer layer of muscle. In a way, you could think of it more similar to potato and fluff. Or like imagine this. You have this special type of wood where you have the bark, but the bark is made up of wood, like hard wood on the inside and then soft wood on the outside. The tree can grow by being given specific types of minerals into the soil, which we can specifically play around with. If we would give it, and in this case, these minerals are reps and sets. If we give the tree a lot of reps and sets, a high amount of reps with a decent amount of sets, then the softwood is going to grow massively and it's going to make the tree look massive and daunting, but it's going to be a very, very easy tree to chop down. But if we give this tree mainly low reps and low sets, and we just give it that continuously, the tree is going to grow at a very steady and slow rate. But the tree would be extremely hard to chop down because the hardwood was the main thing that was growing, whilst the softwood on the outside was basically staying at the same rate it was before. It's just growing by a slight amount as the reps and the sets go on. That's what we want to be doing when we're in the gym. Reason being is this hardwood is a lot more solid, more dense, hence it's much easier to use it in a more athletic way because it's much harder to get the soft muscle in this, if you use it like that, the soft muscle that's the easiest to grow as efficiently as we want it to, because not as efficiently as we want it to, but use it as efficiently as you want to, because it's not going to be performing the way we would be wanting it to, because that muscle has mainly been trained in a slow twitch manner for long reps and long sets, and it's used to that. So if you was to put that onto a track, obviously you'd expect it to not be performing as well. Think of that soft muscle as more slow twitch. It looks big, it looks great, but it's useless because when you go to try and actually sprint, that's not really going to be helping you. Compare that to pure strength, muscle that is just strength and power, and that can directly be converted into speed. The results you'll be getting is different, which is why speed athletes look very different to bodybuilders. Bodybuilders look larger, much larger than any of the best sprinters. Even some of the worst sprinters, like I'm talking 12, 13 second sprinters, maybe not 13 seconds, probably like 12, high 11-second sprinters, maybe low 11-second sprinters. But compare those bodybuilders and these sprinters with their physiques, and you'd realize that with the same height, these bodybuilders could potentially be sometimes double the weight that these sprinters are, but they're not even able to get within 10 to 20 meters of the sprinter in a race, beyond 40, 50 meters. Why? Because the muscles that they've built aren't efficient. Obviously, they haven't probably been trained in sprint mechanics, but even if they were, the muscles that they built weren't efficient and they're just weighing the athlete down because they're not able to get the right power outputs without letting the muscle just be useless. Because there's no point in building extra muscle if you're not able to increase the amount of power you can produce into the ground. For example, let me just make it more obvious. Let's say you weigh 50 kg, and right now you're able to put 2 times your body weight into the ground. There's no point in you building more muscle if you still only able to put 2 times your body weight into the ground. But this is your X body weight, which would mean if you was to, just to keep numbers simple, if you was to go up to 100 kilograms, that would mean you only have to put 1 times your body weight into the ground. And this is essentially what's happening with bodybuilders. Their tendons are strong and all this other stuff up to a certain point, but the muscle they have isn't able to sustain the power that they need to be producing to be sprinting as fast as a sprinter would if they trained their inner muscles to be as big as a bodybuilder's. So what does this mean? This means we need to keep the reps and the sets in the gym low because we don't want to look big. We want to look efficient and effective so we can actually be fast on the track. And the reps and sets that we really want to be doing is 3x5, 3x5, 3x3, and 5x5. But the main focus in the gym, in my opinion, would be 3x3 because this is pure strength. There's no need to go above this, pure strength. The only time you want to be going above these numbers is if you're training to be able to move in a fast twitch manner. But if you're in your off season, you're trying to build strength and a bit of muscle, and trust me, if you do this correctly, it won't just be a bit of muscle because you can build a crazy amount of muscle as long as you're eating right. I'm talking about 5 to 10 kilograms, which doesn't seem like a lot, but considering how you're training, all of that muscle mass adds up because that's functional muscle mass that you can directly use. If you train that hard, then you can expect to be performing really well in the season. The only time you want to be training harder than that, and I'm talking, again, the sets, they generally stay 3. You might get away with doing 4, but generally the best sets to do is 3. 3 times 10, that's the only time you change, and this is if you're doing training to try and improve your force of production, force of production, and the fast twitch muscle fibers you have. But generally use 3 times 3. You do 3 times 5 if you're trying to build a bit more muscle, 5 times 5 if you're really trying to overload, though I found that 5 times 5 is extremely hard to do if you do the amount of exercises I'm going to state in a second, because there's just so many to go through. So you'd have to pick one exercise, and most likely this one exercise might not be the main exercise you're going to be doing it for. For example, if you're doing Olympic weightlifting as the main thing to try and produce more power and speed, then you can only really do 3 times 3s or 3 times 4. And to be honest, I'd stay at 3 times 3 whenever I do it. I never go that high. So you can understand why there'd be a problem. The amount of exercises you want to be doing would be generally anywhere between 5 and 6. And these are the main exercises you do. I'm not including core because core is a separate thing by itself, which you want to obviously be doing. But for the main exercises that you're doing, you've got about 5 to 6. But again, you have to remember that you're also doing upper and lower body. You don't get to split the two unless you're in your off season where you can potentially get away with that. Generally, they're together, which means you're doing 5 to 6 exercises, and there's a direct split between upper and lower, which means 3 legs and 3 upper body. And you do all of these with 3 times 3. Obviously, this is going to take a while to complete because the rest, generally 3 to 4 minutes. However, the intensity of the work would be extremely hard because other than maybe the Olympic weightlifting where your form could be a reason why you miss a rep, you want to make it so that every single rep you do is a grind if you truly want to get strength. And every week you're progressively overloading. You can't progressively overload by increasing the reps or the sets because that might end up, obviously, if you quickly fix afterwards, it's not going to be too big of a problem, but that might end up leading to you growing the wrong muscle type, the soft tissue type that we don't really, the soft tissue that we don't want, which means you're going to have to progressively overload by adding smaller weights like 2.5s, 5 kilograms, 1.25s, 1 kilogram, 0.5 kilograms. It doesn't matter, but every week you just want to be progressing. And as long as you stay within this rep and set range, you won't actually be able to notice the increase in muscle mass purely because it's so steady, it's almost invisible, but once you start to really get heavier, you're going to start to quickly see, and the progress you make would directly correlate onto the track, because the muscle mass you built up is dense and it's useful, and it's increased the amount of power you're able to put into the ground, regardless of, let's not say regardless, but let's say it's in sync with or proportionate to the increase in weight you've produced, because the amount of power you're able to put into the ground is increasing at a much higher rate than your actual weight is. And the easiest way to verify this is actually, for example, let's say your off season is a 3 month period. Let's look at your weight before, when your off season just started, and look at your weight. So let's say look at your weight about September and look at your weight at December, and look at the difference. Look at how much you've gone up in kilograms, and then look at, let's use the main exercise that you really care about. So compare your squat, your deadlift, your Olympic lifts, and maybe some upper body movements like pull-ups, dips, bench, whatever you do, and look at the rate of increase. Look at the kilograms you put onto that weight. So let's say, like me, you improved by 5 kilograms. How much did everything else improve by? Was it 5 kilograms? If it was 5 kilograms, and everything you just did was essentially quite pointless, because that means the amount of power you're able to produce is just in line with the amount of weight you've put on, which means you probably weren't training hard enough, or maybe there was a chance that some things will happen later on in the season, which there is a good chance of. But even if it's just by half a kilogram, your any one of these exercises, or even all of these exercises, went up by a rate higher than the weight you've put on, then you can obviously expect something amazing to happen. To give an example, I started off my deadlifts in September at around 160 kilograms, and by the end of my off season, I believe I was doing 180. Now it's slightly more than that, but around then, 20 kilograms to 5 kilograms. That's a 4 times difference. And look at my squat. I started at 100 kilograms and I went to 120. Again, 4 times difference. Look at my Olympic lifts. Snatch 55, I believe it was, to 65, 2 times difference. And clean and jerk, it was 70 to 80, 2 times difference. Just the clean itself. Oh, by the way, that clean and jerk, it wasn't a clean and a jerk, it was a power clean and a jerk, which obviously means that the weight was much easier, and you'll see why, because in the clean, whilst I didn't do an actual clean, I also did a power clean. I went from 70 kg to 100 kg. The form wasn't the best on either side, but yeah, that seems like a 6 times difference. So then you can see the improvements were much better than the weight I put on, and I wouldn't be able to guarantee that if I mainly focused on building muscle, which meant my main focus would be on hypertrophy. I'm not saying don't do hypertrophy in the gym, because you still need to build muscle, and there will be times where you need to purely focus on just building muscle, so you can be prepared to convert this muscle into the more harder muscle. And generally this is like the first month of you in the gym. But if you are going to try and focus on building more muscle as an athlete, you have to remember that you don't want to build too much of this useless, essentially, muscle, which means the highest reps and the highest sets you're going to do would probably be 5 times 5. Reason being is 5 times 5. If you go anywhere on YouTube, anywhere else on YouTube, and put in 5 times 5, you'll see a lot of people, they live by this, because you build a crazy amount of strength and you build a crazy amount of muscle as well. Muscle less than the strength, but the strength being the main focus here. You build a lot of strength. And then when you drop back down to the 3 times 5 or 3 times 3, generally preference, but I would personally stick with 3 times 3. The progress you'd be able to see would be crazy, because your numbers should just be able to start to steadily go up and up once your body has switched from 5 times 5 to 3 times 3 and it's adjusted, because technically 5 times 5 is harder than doing 3 times 3 as the weight starts to go up. Because let's say you do 5 times 5 for squats and you can do 100. That's what's that, 25,000 kilograms of volume in a single day of work. But now let's say you do 3 times 3. That would mean that you're lifting much closer to your 1 rep max. And let's say you're able to do 110 for that. That would mean that you're doing 990 kilograms. We should just, as volume, we should just go to show that the difference is very big. Because whilst it might just seem like 3 times 3 and 5 times 5 are very close, if you train 3 times 3, then you train 5 times 5, or you flip, whichever one you've done, you quickly realize, okay, 3 times 3 is hard, but it's bearable. 5 times 5 is hard and unbearable. You can generally stick with 5 times 5 throughout the entirety of your season if you was so inclined to, but it would be a very, very tough challenge. And obviously you wouldn't really want to be doing this. This is just a hypothetical, because you wouldn't really want to be doing this because that'll just be pure strength. So you'd be getting power, but you wouldn't be converting it into speed. But if you do 3 times 3, you're able to convert that pure strength in the 5 times 5 into a bit of power, and a lot of it, very, very quickly, and your numbers will start to go up, because the amount of volume that it would take for you, well, not even volume, now it's strength you need to build to be able to be matching the volume you did for the 5 times 5 would be crazy, which essentially means your body has this potential that it hasn't reached yet, because you've done this 5 times 5 before. So that means you should be able to do it for 3 times 3. You just need to build up to it, because now that things are easy, your body's going to be able to adapt. It's like, oh, okay, this isn't too bad, I can do this. Oh, let me keep doing this, because your body's going to be like, oh, this isn't too bad. You can keep pushing. You can be able to push harder and harder than you used to be before. Though if 5 times 5 is a bit too hard for you, then there's 2 reasons: either your body hasn't adapted to it, or you're giving your body too heavy of a load. So you're probably getting to about 3 times 5, and then your body's cancelling out, which is why I said 3 times 5 is also a valid one. It's like a mid-range in between 3 times 3 and 5 times 5. Generally, I don't do 5 times 5s because they're long and they're painful, but 3 times 5's really, really a nice number. And again, let's use 100 kilograms to find out the volume. That means you're doing 1,500 kilograms of volume in a single set, which is a slightly less than 600 kilograms of a difference if on the assumption for 3 times 3 is doing 110, and you can see the difference there. So if you're in the gym trying to build more strength, strength and power, which you can later on in the season progress into speed, then the main focus here would be 3 times 3 as the dominant thing to be doing to get a lot of power, because you don't need to do 3 times 5 or 5 times 5 if you don't want to. 3 times 3 is good enough to progress you throughout the season. Throughout this current season so far, the only thing I've ever done is 3 times 3 on the majority of movements. Let's not even say the majority of movements. Let's say the main movements. So I'm talking the Olympic lifts, squats, though I have done 3 times 5 and tried 5 times 5 before for these. Mainly everything 3 times 3, upper body movements, 3 times 3. Sometimes I do 3 times 4 or 5, but generally everything I do 3 times 3. The only time I wouldn't be doing 3 times 3 is when I'm doing more isolated movements like hip thrust, for example, or on the rare occasion where I go onto a machine. Generally, everything I do is 3 times 3. And whilst we haven't got to the end of my season so far, if you compare the start of my season, which was 12.2, to where I am currently in my season with 11.68 win legal time and 11.34 or 3.6 win legal time, plus 2.4 or 7, I think it's 2.4 for the wind, then you can see the massive difference, because I've improved by almost an entire second. And the time when I got that 12.2 was in, I think it was either late July or late August of that season. So just the change already, when technically I wouldn't have even started my season if I was still sprinting the way I used to, is a big improvement. So if you really want to be building as much strength as possible and actually make it functional, because the main focus here is not just building a lot of muscle, but building a lot of functional muscle. Functional in this case being, is the amount of power you're able to produce more than proportionate to the amount of weight you've gained. If the answer is no, might not be, the muscle isn't functional or might not be as functional yet. Maybe there is a bit of fat you put on, depends. I personally don't bulk, but if it's potentially because you was bulking, then obviously fat to burn. But if the muscle isn't functional, then now you know what you need to do, 3 times 3s. Next season, you know what you can be doing to improve. And this season, if you so choose to, you continue doing 3 times 3 to improve whilst you're in the gym. If you like my video, like the video, let me know in the comment section below. Check the description, because anything I forget to say in the video, I always put in the description. And if you like my content, subscribe. Helps the channel out a lot. I post every 2 days at 1 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. If you don't know when that is, just hit the bell and then you'll be notified instantly.